Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hello. Hey. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. You know, if I didn't have to hit these buttons and stuff, I guess I could like climb like under. Let's see if I can see and then I hit the button. I would hit the button and then I'd be like, hey, peekaboo. Peekaboo. I'd be like a Pete in the box, but I'd be like a Pete under the table because I'm not really in a box, but there is a table here. This is a table as far as we can determine based on our current perception of the 3D paradigm, but we will go with that this is a table for now. Hello, how we doing out there? I'm sorry, I got all discombobulated in my own brain before I started because that's just the way it happens here on Operation Status Quo. It is I am basically the personification of a discombobulated brain. I also try to always talk about that this is the live stream of consciousness, because it all just kind of happens and I really don't have any control over it. I used to say this all the time. Back before I transferred the program over into Operation Status Quo, back when it was Pete's Place and Pete Palma program and blah, blah, I always just say, it's not me, ladies and gentlemen, doing the show. And it's true. I am merely the conduit through which the universe speaks. You understand? Like, I do not have any control over what's going on here. It just gets out of control and I have no choice. I don't want it to be this way. It's just craziness goes on. I know. Let's not go down that road, please. If we can just keep it under control for just a few minutes. Hello. Earth to Operation Status Quo. I apologize. Heyo. It happens sometimes. Anyway, how you guys doing out there? I am Pete Palma, your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. I appreciate you taking the time to be with me here today, ladies and gentlemen. And today is well, first of all, before I say what the day is and what we're talking about, I have to remind you out there, just in case you're new, this is Operation Status Quo. Hello and welcome if you are new here. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo. Because that's the only way to go. What are you doing out there today to create your own flow of quo and enjoy your life the best you can? Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, though. I will say that, I think no one really should put a lot of pressure on themselves. I think actually the less pressure you put on yourself, the better off you are. The more you can kind of be quiet in certain ways within yourself and let the messages come through and just go with like what is right for you naturally without having to make sure it equates with what other people think should be or whatnot or what the world says. That's all it's really about, and whatever that means for you is kind of what you should do. So today is the 24th of October in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled Bad to the Bone, because I'm bad to the bone. Remember that song, George Thorogood? I used to love, well, I still do, I guess. I don't like him any less than I did before, but George Thorogood, Bad to the Bone. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to have some, we always like to have fun. I don't know what I'm going to say. We're having fun now, so today's episode is getting into some behavioral traits that can show you right off the bat. It's a giveaway, as it were, that someone may not be such a nice person. And I guess I was curious myself in this because I always think that I'm pretty nice, and I think you guys are out there pretty nice. That's why I love all of you individually as well as a group, and why I appreciate it so much that you're here with me, and why you take the time to like, subscribe, and share, and send this out to all your friends and family in the world. That's why it's a beautiful working relationship that we have here. But there are some signs apparently, and I always get this stuff, and I'll just be straight up. Usually I get this stuff like from MSN, so we don't know how much to trust exactly, because it is mainstream media. But here, again, this is the place where we just have some conversation and talk about things and look at things, and we have a good time. It's all about having a good time, but don't forget too that you're always welcome here. So if there's something you'd like to share or topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to send me information, and I'd be happy to do that, or happy to have you on if you would like that as well. That'd be great too. So let's find out, because I think I'm a pretty darn nice person. I mean, I'll be the first to say it, and I'm sure you're a pretty darn nice person, or at least you believe it. So let's find out and see if any of these traits are on the list, and some of these giveaways that maybe someone is not as nice as they try to lead people to believe. Okay, on the list, number one here, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing is their fault. Right, the top voted comment shared: nothing is ever their fault. Many people share their experiences and related to them. Someone added that individuals who aren't good people pull the victim card every time. This tactic of blaming you serves as a means to avoid responsibility and repeal their actions in the future. So yes, nothing is their fault. Those kind of people, I don't know if that means they're a bad person per se, you know what I mean, as much, but I mean, I've experienced a ton where it's always, right off the bat, oh, this happened and that happened. And, it's the same kind of things that happen over and over again, but it's always, somebody else. I think about that too sometimes because, just in certain aspects of my life, I'm like, oh, this and this happened. I go, is that me? Is that me? Or is that, honestly, I just think that there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of narcissistic people out there, and I know that's like, a huge, term now, the narcissist and everything, but I look at narcissism more so as just like a lack of like emotional connection in some regard, right? So, and that narcissism encompasses everything to, the gaslighting and the, just everything is of trying to, it really comes down to trying to feed off, someone else's like an empath's type energy, right? Because the empath has a soft heart, and the narcissist really doesn't, right? So they're always looking to to feed in a sense. So this is not what this is about, but just kind of I go on tangents. But nothing is their fault. So keep an eye out for people. Nothing's their fault. I mean, I would agree with that. You can't celebrate someone else's success. Okay, so let's see here. I guess this was a collaboration of people who put input in, and these are the top ones that people agreed on that were show that someone might not be such a nice person. They can't celebrate someone else's success. Someone stated that it's a dead giveaway that someone isn't a good person when they cannot bring themselves to celebrate someone else's success. Yes, I mean, I agree. I mean, honestly, especially working. I saw it so much, like because I tried to worked in radio and even, acting. I auditioned for multiple commercials and, worked a little bit in certain things with that, and even when I worked for the big market TV station up in Philadelphia for when I was in my younger days doing an intern program and all, and that kind of environment, it was very interesting to me because I really wanted to get into radio just because I like to, because I enjoy the process of radio. I think I love being on a microphone and, my creative ideas. And I was always very idealistic, would try to meet with people, get with people. I'm like, wow, I put my ideas with your ideas and we can make a whole big thing. And you start realizing quickly in that business that nobody wants to hear your ideas. It's like you become a threat and stuff instead. And I'm one to always look to celebrate someone else's success. I think it's beautiful because, I mean, quite honestly, if you're not loving somebody else for what they accomplish and offer into the world, it's really a reflection on yourself, right? So it's like jealousy or it's, whatever you want to call it, but it's envy, jealousy, all those things that aren't so nice. So please, if you are out there and it makes you so mad because you think you should have got this or done that and be wherever, like you're a good singer and how did this person become a singer and I should be a singer, or something like that, celebrate the success of the other singer and just keep on singing and it'll happen for you too. All right, let's see here. Different treatment in public and private, right? Someone indicated that for them, it's being treated by someone differently in public than in private. So let's say this person advised them to call that person out. If they listen and are willing to change, give them a chance. If they refuse to acknowledge the problem, they aren't willing to change, then they can't be such a good friend, right? But obviously, I think that kind of speaks for itself. That's a red flag and like a multitude of facets for relationships. If someone, treats you a certain way when you're home alone and then treats you a different way when you're out in public, right? I mean, it just should be some sort of consistency there. So again, we were we're trying to just isolate some ideas that might say that a person is not a very nice person. So so far these first three, they just sound more like just immature. Like again, I don't know how much of it is a bad person as opposed to just emotional immaturity, right? It's really what it sounds like. It's always about them, right? One user described how you can recognize someone who isn't a good person when things are always about them. They added that they're always the hero or the victim in their stories. They can't take criticism, but probably dish it out to everyone else. And last but not least, they're never wrong. So yeah, never wrong. So, and it's always about them. I've had people that I've known like that. Again, I still kind of, again, I know they're saying this like they're not a nice person, but let's, I think we're all good people, right? I just want to preface it, halfway through the list, I want to preface it that we are all good people, really. We have the potential, at least, to all be good people. We all come from the same ilk, as it were, the oneness of the universe. So the potential's there. What the soul journey and its purpose is and how it plays out, I mean, those are different things. And, and just so far with these couple items that we've said, just how it's always about them, and they're not happy for other people when, for other people's success and blah 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 and all these types of things. I mean, you really think about. It's sad. Like, it's funny because it's sad and it's funny. It's sad because the people who are those type of traits, unfortunately, like they're so self-consumed and really just so insecure, right? And that's why they have to, be that way, because they're so, they don't really believe in themselves. So that's, that's a sad part. And I guess it's a funny part. It's a funny part too, because the funny part about it is like they're the kind of people sometimes that'll seem so oppressive, right? They'll seem so oppressive, or you almost be intimidated or something, because you don't want, it's just a problem, but really, it's their problem, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way it goes. Let's see. They only remember you when they need something. An individual shared that they consider someone not a good person when that person would only remember you as their friend when they need something from you. And, I'm sure the people in your life that are that way. And for all this type of stuff, I always go back to the setting boundaries thing. And that's why we say here on Operation Status Quo, it's about observing life, and it's all facets of life, right? And sometimes we get heavy and we talk about the world events and everything that's going on. But sometimes it's something as simple as this, just your one-on-one interpersonal relationships. And, you set your boundaries. You can realize behaviors that don't coincide with you. And you should never, any of us, I would, I'm not saying what to do, but I would encourage people to be mindful and aware and say, don't do anything out of guilt or fear or people pleasing, really do what resonates for you. Gossip is another one on a list. One person shared that they feel gossiping is a indicator of someone not being a good person. They're always held. They've always held that if someone gossips to you, they're most surely gossip about you to others, right? So if somebody's coming to you and saying, "Oh, what so and so did," and blah, 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 well, when they're talking to somebody else, they're going, "Oh, I was just with Pete." He's a jerk too. It's funny. Just coming from my family the way it did, and I guess, my grandparents and that generation and all, but I don't know, like, my grandmother and her sisters kind of, I wouldn't say they were gossipers, but they were, it wasn't gossip, but they were like always kind of looking, oh, did you see what so-and-so was wearing, or it's just not like they meant it like I don't think they were bad people, but it was always those type of things. And I realized myself too, as I got older and have conversation, and it's human nature in a sense, right, to be like kind of notice something and talk, especially in close family or friend circles. Joe always does this, or Fred always does that, and you start talking about, what's going on with Jimmy and his wife, And, truthfully, everybody's in a struggle, and no one really knows what really is going on truly in someone else's life. Even the people you're closest with and you think know each other inside and out. There's, you never know everything, right? So I think we should always remember to give space. We might talk about something sometimes, but I also think it's important to realize if you start to go on that tangent of saying things about someone else in, a gossipy way, maybe just kind of be mindful to hold back a little bit and say, oh, is it really, what am I putting out into the universe to jibber jabber, about this person's business and what I think they do that's not right, or all that kind of stuff, right? So don't be a bad person. Don't gossip, okay? It's the public service announcement here today on Operation Status Quo. Just a joke. One person expressed that people who are not good constantly say or do things where their only justification for doing so is it was just a joke. You know, when they're called out on something, they go, oh, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Now, I will be honest that I don't know if this makes me a bad person or not, but I don't say I do that so much now, but I did. I was definitely, when I was younger, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Obnoxious. You might find me quite obnoxious now, but I was really kind of more obnoxious and a little more, arrogant, chippy on my shoulder in a way, I like to bust people's chops and stuff. So, and I'd always say it's just a joke. It's just a joke. But really, what was it? What was it? It was me. It was me having a problem with myself, and I had to bust balls of somebody else, to make myself feel better. But now I still bust balls. But the great thing about it now is I can still bust balls, and I feel great. I don't think I give myself a round of applause here. I can bust balls, and I still feel great about myself on top of it. It's a win-win. Yeah, it's a win-win. So you got to find out how that works for you. But, if you find yourself out there, always making little kids cry and then just saying, oh, it was just a joke, maybe you want to, back off a little bit and think about it. All right. Next on the list is job title. Oh, yeah. One person shared her view on what it is to be a bad person and articulated how some people treat others based on their job titles. I'm sure we've all experienced this. I was going to say it like this. I get a kick out of it because my current job, the one person is he's I guess he's probably in his late 30s, and he's a doctor. He's listed as doctor, on the things. The doctor, I'm not going to give his name, but doctor so and so, and we do like administrative paperwork nonsense, right? And I no disrespect to somebody going and getting an education. I think it's great, you know what I'm saying? But he likes to be called doctor, and I'm just like, what are you going to do for me, doctor? If I fall down a flight of steps, can you help me out? If my throat caves in and I can't breathe, can you help me out? I mean, why am I calling you doctor? Because what? Because, you do administrative work at a higher level. I was like, I can at least understand a doctor of, economics or I don't know, something deeper. I don't even know what his doctorate is in, to be honest with you, but I just get a kick out of it. It's like, dude, we do bullshit paperwork, and you're like, doctor, I'm a doctor. He seems like a nice guy though, but I don't know. Maybe he's not. Maybe I should really take a look at this, and he may, in fact, be a bad person. No, like I said, nobody's bad. Nobody's bad. Boundary setting. Let's see. One person here also expressed their experience and said, when you express a boundary, others will try to guilt trip you, pressure you, or threaten you, or try something else to force you to do things you don't want to do. When you set boundaries, some will just ignore you. Another person added that idea. They shared their experience about their roommate who's been doing that, among other things. Okay. And I'm going to tell you about this because I agree 100% with this boundaries thing. And it's really interesting because, I'm an open person. I meet a lot of people and, I make friends with people and everything. And it's a tough situation for me because my first instinct is to be very friendly and ingratiate myself to everyone, which I really do want to do, but then comes the aftermath of the kookadoos that you're dealing with. And then you have to try to disassociate sometimes. And that's, here's the thing, just to tell this story quickly, I had a friend where I did set boundaries. There were some issues in, some of the conversation and stuff that was going on. And I didn't care for it. I didn't care for the energy I was feeling, in this connection. And I kind of took myself out of it, for a while. And then, because of the way I am, I felt bad. I said, I shouldn't, turn this person out completely. I said, let me reach out, have a conversation, and at least explain, what, and then we got to that point where that happened. And then the person, if it was okay for a little while, and then started busting my balls all the time. Oh, are you in a good enough mood today to talk? And it's just man, you see what I'm saying? This is why I stopped talking to you to begin with. And I'm trying to, but obviously if a person doesn't get it, and what really was the final thing was I always set my boundaries overall, but I kind of put a little line in the sand of like, listen, I will reach out to you at this X time, and that person didn't hold true to that boundary that I set to say that I will reach out to you at this particular time. They incessantly kept contacting me anyway, and I just decided to, never contact them again, which I haven't. It's like, if you can't respect what I'm saying, then there's no point for us to continue. So I think it's very important to set your boundaries. And, sometimes like it's, you don't have to explain everything to everybody is what I realized too. Sometimes it's bigger than words, sometimes the energy is what it is and you feel what you feel and you just know something in your heart that is beyond trying to explain it out for 20 minutes, half hour. And it's just like, it just is what it is. And you're better off, honestly, less is more, not explaining too much, because, then become, if you get with a person that is more like in this kind of mindset, which really sounds a lot of narcissistic type behaviors, they're never going to accept what you say anyway. So even if you try to rationally explain, listen, this is what I feel, and that's that, they're going to come back and question you and try to make you feel like you're a dope, for feeling that way. And the truth is, like, it's not going to make me change what I feel. It's just going to make you try to justify that I'm a jerk and whatever. So you're better off just letting it go. You're better off just letting it go, because everybody just wants to defend themselves. They're not going to take, especially if somebody was, open to, really hearing things, and you wouldn't have a bad relationship with that person, right? Because you have a level of communication that would work out, So anyway, let's see here. And the last one, is this the last one? Let me go one more over and see. Oh no, there is a few more. I thought that was the last one. Okay. Anyway, whoops. Got to be careful here with my buttons. You don't want to be pushing these buttons too quick. All right, being mean to animals. I think that speaks for itself. I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. If you treat animals like crap, I don't know what kind of heart and soul that you have. I don't understand how people can do it. I've seen some horrific videos of treatment of animals and such, not just our food. I mean, what they do to our food is a total disgrace. That's it's another issue unto itself. But how you're mean to just a little puppy or kitty or I don't know, whatever, anything. I mean, I don't know. Just being mean to animals, speaks for itself. You don't want to be around. I would agree with that one. Littering is another one on the list. Throwing trash out of a car window or littering in any way can make you a bad person. I don't know if it necessarily makes you a bad person, but it makes you an inconsiderate person. That's for sure, because that was the last one there, littering. Yeah. So it makes you an inconsiderate person. That's for sure. I mean, have a little, and I, me, I'm always talking about trying to have, being responsible for ourselves, having reverence for the planet, and all that type of thing. So you shouldn't be littering. There's no reason to litter, right? I mean, and I see that around here too, where I live a lot. I don't know why, like more so than from home. I don't know what it is about this area. Just people, there's always like, even in the neighborhood, I go down the street, like, where does this trash come from? Like people just literally drop like their Slurpee cup in the middle of the street and they're done with it. It's like, maybe it's the mindset of the younger generation today. Their brains are so much like pudding, just from phones and video games and all that kind of nonsense, social media. So they don't even know. They're just like, oh, cup empty, drop cup. They don't even think about put cup in trash can. It doesn't get that far. Cup empty, no need cup, drop cup. That's kind of how it goes. All right. Anyway, how did you guys rate out there? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about these ideas that constitute a potential bad person out there? Are you a good person? I know you're a good person, because you wouldn't be here with me on Operation Status Quo if you were not a good person. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time, as I do each and every day when we're here together on Operation Status Quo. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. God bless each and every one of you. I love you individually as well as a group. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo disengaged.